Have you ever left a conversation feeling completely exhausted? You didn't run a marathon. You didn't lift heavy weights. You just sat in a comfortable chair, drank coffee, and talked to a friend. Yet, when you walk away, your body feels heavy. Your mind feels foggy. It feels like someone reached inside you and pulled out your battery. You might blame the traffic, or a poor night of sleep, or a busy work schedule. But deep down, you know the truth. The exhaustion started the exact moment that specific person walked into the room. We often think of energy as a purely physical resource. We believe calories and sleep regulate it. But Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung suggested something far more profound. He believed our psychological energy is a fluid, living force. He called it the libido, but not in a strictly physical sense. To Jung, this energy is our total life force, our attention, and our mental vitality. When you feel drained around someone, it is not an illusion. It is a measurable psychological event. Your mind is performing heavy labor in secret. Most people assume these draining interactions happen because the other person is toxic, loud, or negative. We like to label them as energy vampires. It is easy to blame their constant complaining or their endless drama. But this common explanation misses the real mystery. If the problem is entirely theirs, why doesn't everyone feel drained by them? Why does their presence target you so specifically? The unsettling reality is that the drain does not come from what they are doing to you. It comes from what your own subconscious is doing to protect you from them. To understand this, we must look at one of Jung's most famous concepts, the shadow. The shadow consists of the parts of ourselves we have hidden away. It contains our repressed desires, our unsanctioned fears, and the traits we were told were unacceptable. If you were taught to always be polite, your anger lives in your shadow. If you were taught to be independent, your need for comfort lives in your shadow. We spend an immense amount of energy keeping a heavy lid on this psychological basement. Now imagine someone walks into your life who openly expresses the exact traits you have locked away. Perhaps they are unapologetically selfish. Perhaps they demand constant attention, or they complain without any filter. When you sit across from them, something intense happens beneath your conscious awareness. Your subconscious recognizes your own repressed shadow staring back at you. Jung called this psychological projection. You aren't just listening to a friend talk. You are actively fighting to keep your own buried traits from rising to the surface. Your mind is working overtime to maintain your persona, the polite mask you wear for the world. The exhaustion you feel is the friction between your conscious mask and your activated shadow. You are literally burning psychological fuel to stay composed. But the mystery goes even deeper than repressed traits. Neuroscience offers another piece of this puzzle through a phenomenon known as neural coupling. Our brains are hardwired for deep empathy. When we interact with someone, our mirror neurons fire to simulate their emotional state inside our own minds. If a person is constantly anxious, your brain begins to mirror that chaos. They might appear calm on the outside, but their internal state is a storm of unresolved tension. You don't just hear their words, you absorb their nervous system. Your body treats their hidden anxiety as an immediate threat. Your cortisol levels rise. Your muscles tighten in microscopic ways. You enter a low-grade fight-or-flight state without even knowing it. Sitting in a coffee shop suddenly becomes as physically demanding as escaping a predator. You are exerting energy to regulate a nervous system that isn't even yours. There is another type of person who leaves us completely empty. The person who demands that we play a specific role in their personal drama. Jung observed that many people do not live authentic lives. Instead, they live out unconscious complexes. A complex is a collection of emotionally charged thoughts that acts like a sub-personality. Some people carry a victim complex. Others carry a savior complex, or a critic complex. When you encounter someone trapped in a strong complex, they do not see you for who you actually are. They see you as a prop in their internal theater. They need you to be the rescuer who validates their pain, or they need you to be the audience that admires their achievements. To maintain the relationship, you unconsciously agree to play the script they handed you. You smile when you want to frown. You agree when you want to challenge them. You twist your personality into a shape that fits their emotional needs. This act of continuous self-betrayal is incredibly expensive to your psyche. Every time you suppress a genuine reaction to keep the peace, you drain your reservoir of vitality. You are paying for their comfort with your own life force. You might wonder why we allow this to happen over and over again. Why don't we just walk away? The answer lies in our profound fear of psychological isolation. We often prefer the exhausting safety of a draining relationship over the terrifying freedom of standing alone. We choose to feel depleted rather than risk feeling abandoned. But there is an even more uncomfortable truth we must face. Sometimes, we remain around draining people because we secretly derive identity from the drain. Being the reliable listener, the patient advisor, or the strong shoulder gives us a sense of purpose. We become addicted to the utility of our exhaustion. We mistake our depletion for love, and we mistake our fatigue for loyalty. Carl Jung believed that every discomfort in our lives is an invitation to awaken. The exhaustion you feel around certain people is not a curse. It is a highly sophisticated diagnostic tool sent by your subconscious mind. It is a psychological alarm system telling you exactly where your boundaries are broken. It reveals the places where you are living inauthentically to please others. When someone drains you, they are holding up a mirror to your own unhealed wounds. They are showing you your inability to say no. They are exposing your desperate need to fix things that are not your responsibility. The moment you realize this, the entire dynamic changes. You stop viewing yourself as a helpless victim of their negative energy. You realize you hold the key to your own vault. You cannot control the emotional storms that other people carry inside themselves. You cannot force them to heal, to self-reflect, or to change. But you have absolute authority over how much of your inner world you sacrifice to accommodate them. True maturity begins when we learn to observe an interaction without absorbing it. You can listen without adopting their worry. You can offer kindness without offering your identity. You can care for someone without carrying them. The next time you walk away from someone feeling utterly depleted, do not be angry with them. Instead, sit quietly with your fatigue. Ask yourself what your shadow is trying to tell you. Look closely at the mask you wore during that conversation, and ask why you felt it was necessary. The people who drain us are often our greatest, most painful teachers. They show us the exact boundaries we have failed to build for ourselves. Protecting your peace is not a selfish act. It is the highest responsibility you have to your own soul, because your energy is not infinite, and it belongs to the life you are meant to build. If this perspective changed the way you see yourself, subscribe and join us as we continue exploring the hidden patterns of the human mind.